All right, let's recap this trade, guys. Let's talk about it. Yeah, 486 ticks from entry all the way to the bottom. Obviously, we took TPs throughout the move, all the way down. Good TP levels. So initially, we had that orb breakout, right? Initially, we had that orb breakouts. Let me just turn these off so we have clear the charts a little bit. I'm low-key just going to delete everything, and I'm going to just go over these levels, right? So we had an orb breakout here. This was our 15-minute orb. As we always do, we chart out that orb high, and we're going to chart out that orb low all the way down here. All right, and we weren't showing any signs of dropping here, right? We showed all signs of bullish. We had our data high above from that PPI data. So I definitely wanted to see us go up and grab that data high, right? Which we eventually did go up and grab. But we also had to keep in mind, what do we also have up here? We have a 4-hour SIBI, sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency, right above, right inside, like right where that data high is, right? So we have that 4-hour inefficiency. What happens there? We also have an hourly. We see us kind of run through that area. We see a pretty strong move above, decent or breakout. And then we just kind of hit a wall, right? And when did we hit a wall? Right when ES finally took out that data high, right? It was just waiting, excuse me, for ES to sweep that data high. Right when we swept it, we finally saw that reversal, right? So what was I looking for? I was literally looking for the first 1 minute inversion I saw on the charts. That's all I cared about, right? I knew we were in higher time frame imbalances. I knew we were going right into lunch hour. I knew that ES finally took out that data high. So I looked for this 1 minute bullish for value gap, right? We had swept buy side liquidity on this little move up. And then we got this inverse. We closed right below. So the second we closed below, we just looked for a little retest right there, and we jumped into our short position. And I ended up going into a full position off of that retest right here in that dump. So our entry was somewhere around here. And then I just kept my stop loss above that IFEG wick. So we had a really tight stop. I think it was actually about 50 ticks. 49 ticks or something like that. So our entry was right around here. It was about a 49 tick stop. So we had a really tight stop, really tight risk on this, right? And initially I wasn't sure how far this one was going to dump. Was it going to actually come all the way back down to the 50%? That's the other thing we need to do real quick. What do we always have to do at London close reversal, guys? We always have to chart out using our Fibonacci retracement tool, the high to the low of our AM range, right? Which technically was actually down here. So technically our 50% was the orb high. I did it for this whole range just because of that data low. And we want to look at where that 50% is. And you can see we ended up dumping all the way down to that 50%, right? So we kind of took TPs throughout. I took my first TP pretty early, around 90 ticks, just because we had that internal low. And I wasn't sure yet if this was going to be a full-on reversal, right? And then we just started to see this one keep selling off. So we held 3 contracts down to here. And I just started trailing my stops kind of throughout this move because we're hitting support, right? We're hitting this orb high. We're hitting VWAP. So we took another TP right around here. Let's turn on those executions again just to kind of check them out. All right, so we took another TP around that orb high. We held through again, and then we took another TP right here, and then just kind of held all the way down. Ended up getting stopped in profit all the way over here. But either way, almost a 5K day right there. Almost a 5K day on that trade. This first trade over here was that break-even short we took. So small break-even. It'll show up for me as a loss just because it was like 40 bucks, but I consider that a break-even. And then, yeah, I mean, that's really the trade, guys. Now we're seeing that recovery. But it's just a classic London close reversal, even though it's a little bit before London close. It's a bearish GUI, right? Higher time frame rejection out of that fair value gap on 2 of them. 1 minute inversion. We know we've taken out our key buy side. We don't really have too much more buy side above us. And then we started to see a lot of buyers popping up below. So we look at Bookmap, we see buyers popping up. And then we just get a ton of selling pressure stepping in. And we're able to add into a full position, catch this one down, and secure profit on the way down. And yeah, I mean, that's what we did, guys. As simple as that. That's kind of my recap. So, great day overall. Don't need to trade anymore after that. Again, I mean, look at that RR, right? You look at 50 ticks of risk, 49 ticks of risk to catch almost 500 ticks, right? We're looking at almost like a 10 to 1 overall. Now, obviously, we didn't catch a 10 to 1 because we took profits throughout the move. But when you kind of look back on it, and you see, wow, okay, that was almost 10 to 1 R because we only risked about 50 ticks, and it dropped about almost 500, right? So overall, just great setup, A+ model. We waited a long time for that setup, right? Because we didn't see anything clean to catch these longs up. I tried to take a little scalp short here. That one stopped at break even. And then this whole move up, there was no A+ model, so I could not trade it, right? I stayed out of it. But what does patience do for us? We wait for the macro right here, right? Right around 1050 is when this move happened. Literally right at 1050 is exactly during the macro when this happened, right? What happens during the macro, guys? We see price start to actually move and run for liquidity. So right there, our whole macro is from 1050 to 1110. Look at that move during the macro. We saw a huge move down from when the macro started for about how many ticks? Let's see. About 225 ticks. So we wait for the macro, we wait for the inversion, we wait for the bounce from a higher time frame for value gap, and then we get into a full position, we watch it run, we take our TPs, we trail our stops, and manage our trade the best we can, right? So, yeah, that's the trade recap right there. And